What is happening, fellow fantasy PMs? I am JJ Wang. He is the bearded one, DJ Dub, and with our powers combined, we are the Fantasy Couriers.
Happy Tuesday, JJ Wang. Here we go again.
Yeah, I guess it's happy. I had a bad fantasy week. Yeah, it's 2 weeks in a row. I might have to consider retirement here if this keeps up. Not good.
I had a good week, but
Huh.
it's one of those things where we've become bigger fantasy fans than usually our team fans. But my team played so bad that
Bad.
I was angry. I was legitimately like I'm reading Dolphins threads and there are Dolphins fans going, I've never been this embarrassed in 50 years of being a fan of the team. And if anybody wants to know why I hate Devontae Parker, just watch him drop that end zone pass that was in his hands. Or Albert Wilson, maybe he should have opted back into football because he still opted out the way I've seen some of those drops he had.
But I'm
It
saying you
was
got to play Preston Williams more. I don't even know why these guys are in here. Preston Williams needs to be on the field, man.
yeah, and apparently Jacoby Brissett has no clue who Jalen Waddle is because he had zero passes after Tua went down.
Oh, really?
Zero. Yeah, he didn't get anything. I didn't realize that because they were just so bad I couldn't pay attention. But yeah, I was frustrated. I mean, the Bills didn't look as good. Like they looked good, but they didn't look as good as that score shows. And the Dolphins didn't look. They just anyway. Let's talk about some better stuff. We have the check out the Fantasy Couriers on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Send us an email, the fantasy couriers at gmail.com. It's been lonely. Somebody send us an email. Maybe we'll get another one from Chasing Sunshine at some point asking about one of his future teams. So he's got one good team. The other one, whoo he's right there. He's competing with you.
Bad.
Check us out on TikTok. And our goal for September is 50 subscribers on YouTube. We're getting close. What'd you
We're at
say?
40. We're at 42. I mean, we only
Woo!
need 8 more people to subscribe. That's it. 8 people. I know there's
It's
8 people
coming.
in the 97 leagues that we're in that haven't subscribed yet. We just need eight
Yeah,
more people.
yeah, come on, come on. Just if you're pretending to be our friend, continue pretending by
Yeah, just
liking. I
pretend. I
mean,
mean, it's okay. I've been pretending to be people's friends my whole life. Sometimes. I mean, it
people think
happens.
we like each other. Who knows? Also, if you don't like YouTube, like us on Spotify, Apple, Google, any of those places. Also, we're starting something fun that I totally jacked up last week. We have a little DraftKings league set up. I tried to create a game last week and didn't read the fine print on DraftKings, so I'd set up one where it would was supposedly going to wind in and out. So I just like 200 people. We're not getting 200 people. I was like, if we get 10, cool. But it was supposed to go down to 10. But apparently, you can only do that if the contest size is 25 or less. So this week, the contest size will be 25 or less. If I see there's more demand, we'll go from there. But if you're interested, I will pop a link on there's a link on our Facebook. There was an Instagram post I'll put back up that will you can join our listener league where if I create a contest, it'll pop up and you'll be like, hey, I want to join that. Cool. We're not gonna do anything bigger than a dollar because we can't afford more than a dollar.
Pretty
And
much all I have is $1.
yeah. So I'll take your dollar and you can eat ramens or extra chicken eggs for a week.
Yeah, I got
So
I got a cabinet full of them with that ramen noodles. So we're good.
I just keep eating. Week two. This is our day to rehash how the week went and maybe look forward a little bit. Got a question for you, JJ Wang.
Shoot.
We went into the season going Houston and Detroit are probably the two most truly horrible teams in the league, and I would say they don't look as horrible as I thought. They're not going to win a lot, but who do you think the worst team in the league is?
So of course I went with Jacksonville. You went with the Jets, I believe, right?
Let's talk about the Jets. Yeah,
Yeah, so I think they'll probably end up. They looked really bad. Both of those looked really bad yesterday. Houston looked competitive. Houston's looked really good, but with Tyrod down, they could be really bad if Davis Mills comes in. He'll be high and low like crazy. But yeah, I think Jacksonville and the Jets are probably going to be battling for that number one overall pick again. They Jacksonville looks dreadful. And I don't,
yeah,
and
I
from
don't
what I
agree.
gather, everybody seems to think Urban Meyer is going to be gone after this year. So it'd be another complete reset. So we'll see how that goes.
But it's interesting. Both the two teams that we're mentioning that could fight for the number one pick, excuse me, they are going to not need a quarterback.
Yeah.
So they're going, so that stands for the kid from Oregon could possibly be it's Oregon, right? Yeah, Oregon. He could
Yeah.
possibly be playing for the Jets or the Jags. So it's almost like a perfect season for the NFL draft. Not going to be Spencer Rattler going one unless one of them trades out of their pick for gets the ranch, which would be a smart for either of those teams to
Yeah.
do.
Honestly, I don't. From the first couple of weeks of the college football season, I really don't see anybody jumping up to the 1 or 2 spot to take quarterback. I don't think there's hasn't been anybody really that good worth that number one pick. But he's still got a lot of games left in college. But yeah,
Did you
so
see Zach Wilson?
going with the team that we thought was really good last year in the Saints. Are they good or are they bad?
I I don't know. That was pretty embarrassing. If I like, other than the Dolphins, that could be the most embarrassing game of the week to go from what they did. But the thing is, I don't think they're good because, well, I think Jameis, that was a lot of the warnings last week. Jameis might have been fool's gold because when he threw those 5 touchdowns, he only threw for what, a buck 98, I believe, last week. And then this week, he looked like a scared quarterback. If I had to comp him, he just didn't look confident in the pocket. Didn't
Yeah,
look confident at
yeah, he
all.
didn't look, but he didn't look good. Like I said, this is probably gonna be like this all year. I mean, they play 17 games, so it'll probably be somewhere at 9-8, 8-9. So they'll be good half the time, really bad half the time, probably. But that's after
Well,
yesterday.
if Jameis throws for 111 yards and Alvin Kamara runs for 5, I don't think
Yeah, you're right.
it's going to be that many.
you're
I mean,
you're right on that one.
can you name their leading receiver on Sunday? I can.
Um,
I dropped him in all my leagues. I had him for a while.
I have no idea.
Little Jordan
Oh, Joe
Humphrey.
Harper, that's right. Yeah, if that's your leading receiver, it's going to be a long year because I don't see Michael Thomas even coming back this year. So
I don't see him wanting to come back.
yeah,
Are they going to Deshaun Watson him?
that's true. I mean, maybe, but
It's bad.
let's go out. Speak of some running backs that we were talking about last week. We was talking about the 49ers running back and the Baltimore running backs trying to figure out where do you go. The 49ers running backs were a disaster after everybody paid that money for Elijah Mitchell. That didn't work out. Baltimore running back, I still think Tyson Williams is good. I mean, he had 77 rushing yards on 13 carries. I mean, I don't know what more you could ask for the guy. Like, he's not getting the touchdowns, but it's solid, better than what Murray and those other guys do. As far as the 49ers go, I wouldn't want to be any of those guys right now.
It, from what I'm hearing, the guy you want to be, or if you're looking to stash you at that bench spot, Jeff Wilson. He will be back in a what, about a month maybe. Throw him on your bench and just wait because all the 49ers running backs will be hurt by then.
Yeah.
Carry on could be starting soon. I mean, in Baltimore, Devonta Freeman was getting some carries.
Ridiculous. I mean, I did hear where 49ers were bringing in Duke Johnson.
Yep.
They get him some run. I think there was another one. I can't remember.
Yeah, I was trying to think. There was a second guy that the
But
49ers brought in.
yeah, I mean, if you're giving Devonta Freeman carries over a guy who's averaging 6 yards a carry, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, doesn't make any sense to me, man.
It looked good because I threw I was sneaky. I threw Devonta Freeman on my DraftKings lineup Sunday night. He got like 5 or 6 points just sheerly by being alive and
That's
moving.
crazy. But yeah, I wouldn't want to be anybody that. But I think the biggest takeaway from this
Ooh.
week was the quarterback injuries. Man, it was killer. I mean, you got Tyrod went down, Tua went down, Wentz went down, Dalton went down. It's like it was just bad. It just happened one right after the other. Now, granted, none of these teams really had any high potential as far as like season goes, but there would be some quarterbacks on the waiver wire that might be able to pick up and help you out a little bit, maybe. Hopefully, hopefully Eason and Davis Mills play really, really well.
You got to get off this Easton train. I watched that. I watched him throw ball. He should not be in an NFL team.
I will never get off that train.
Yeah. We're losing subscribers. We just went down to 41 on YouTube because they heard you continue to say Jacob Eason. The ironic thing about these 4 guys, Dalton is still Nagy still is an idiot. Says he's going to be the quarterback, but he's pretty much covering his tail. So if Justin Fields plays bad, he can be like, "Oh, I said Andy's my quarterback." He can go back down. Tua was running for his life. The Bills in that first quarter, their defense was just running over the Dolphins line. And then they stopped running over the line a little bit. Jacoby Brissett had more time. So I don't know if they just said, "Hey, we're not going to try to catch him." But the ironically, as you said, the biggest one was Tyrod because he's carrying that team on his back and he looks so good.
He was
And
like 10 for 11 and like 100 yards before he went down. He was playing really
he's
well.
putting on his best Kyler Murray, but Carson Wentz, I
That
would
guy.
argue that the Colts have a chance to go to the playoffs. In that division, yes. The
Oh yeah,
Titans are
yeah.
playing better now, but the Colts, if Wentz plays good, they can compete with the Titans easily because the Titans defense isn't that great. And Carson he looked good. They were beating the Rams. They were carrying their own against the Rams, but apparently you can't just sprain one ankle. You got to sprain all of them. I think
Yeah.
he sprained 3 ankles. He's so injury prone.
He's got the Josh Jacobs injury designation. Just everything's hurt right now. I mean,
Uh
guys always hurt.
yeah, so it's yeah, none of these are all-star calibers. We didn't lose Tom Brady, thank goodness. We didn't lose Kyler or Josh Allen or any of those guys. But there will be ripples here going on. Derek Carr popped up on the we'll talk about him a little later, but he popped up on the injury report this week as questionable, although they say he's gonna, but that'd be a big one for the Raiders.
Oh,
I'd say
that'd be
that would be bigger than these four guys
Raiders
because
are
the
playing
Raiders are
really good
playing
right now.
well. Another injury that just stinks because it happened on the last play on his
That when they can't win, it shouldn't even have made the.
Deontay Johnson, the target monster, target hog, the guy that Big Ben just peppers. Well, if Big Ben can get the ball to anybody, because we could throw a better ball, I think, recently than he's been throwing. He's hurt and he's out. I think I've seen 3 weeks, maybe something to that effect.
I mean, that just adds more hype to my fantasy season. I had Deontay Johnson in a lot of places, and it's just snowballing. It's out of control. But like I said, it's when Deontay Johnson plays the whole game, he's a double digit target guy. I
Mhm.
mean, like all the time.
Yeah.
And now you take him. I'm over this season already, man. I'm over it.
Yeah, I have a team with Deontay Johnson and Chris Godwin. You want to talk about peppered targets? It's
Yeah, I mean,
magnificent. But that's not even the question, how bad your team are or how much we're doomed because we like Deontay Johnson. But who's the beneficiary of that? Is it Claypool? Is it Juju? Is it Najee? Is it Freiermuth? Is it
maybe James Washington makes a site. Maybe James Washington. There's a James Washington sighting somewhere.
the way
But I
the
think I
season's
think
going?
I think if anything, it'd be Juju. He's more of a possession guy than
Mhm.
Claypool is. Claypool's that deep target. Maybe Freiermuth gets some more targets, but I, just, I mean, if it's not going to be, you're going to have to be that underneath receiver. Uh, Ben just doesn't push down the field like he used to. So I mean, we'll see. Hopefully,
What about Najee? What about Najee?
he
Could
actually did pretty
he
better yesterday than he did last week. When he had 5 catch, was it 5 catches this week or
this
this
week he
past
had
week?
5 catches on 5 targets. He's got, I mean, when you got 100% catch, Jan,
The
and
next,
Claypool had 9 targets, caught 3, but he had 9. So
I
that's the
mean, like I
second.
said, they're going to have to go somewhere. These three guys will get more than what they typically do, but like I said, they're just not going down the field right now. That offensive line, from what I gather, can't protect him longer than
No,
two and a half seconds, and Ben
they're
ain't
like,
Ben ain't moving nowhere.
so we're gonna move on. Each of us have 3 takeaways from their week. Sometimes it's just things we're happy about. Sometimes it's just observations. My first thing is something I'm happy about. 12 targets, 9 receptions, 159 yards. A man that I loved and I said was going to bounce back from his knee being basically shredded wheat last year. Cortland Sutton. He looked like a monster. Cortland Sutton looked like the big giant man that he is. Cortland Sutton, Teddy goes, "Hey, I don't have my boy Jerry. I'm going to go 6'4", 216 and just crush it with Cortland Sutton." He looked amazing, and the Broncos are good.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Bourbon Bowl chasing sunshine. I think he did change his name though. On that, I can't remember what it.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to him. He's got one of the best teams in the AFC going right now for Super Bowl picks looking good. But yeah, I mean Sutton looked good. I mean he's getting the targets. I guess with Jerry Judy going, Sutton fill that role. Now we just need Judy to come back. But I don't think that's going another 6 to 8 weeks. But yeah, he looked good. He was it 13? Was it 12 targets? 13? No, 11 targets.
12 targets. I like the Broncos, but I guess you can't play the Giants and Jaguars every week.
That's true.
So we'll see how they pan out going forward.
Yeah, so jumping up, I'm going with the whole team here. I'm going with the Panthers may be really good. Darnold playing really well, completing 68% of his passes, 500 almost 600 yards, 3 touchdowns. Of course, you know CMC is really good. I mean, he's got 170 rushing yards, 150 receiving. Can't get more balanced than that guy. He just looks like I guess the best player on the field every time he's out there. I mean,
who would have thunk?
He just looks good. I know. And then DJ Moore actually looking pretty good this year. He's getting a lot of targets, almost 10 targets a game, 160 yards, and he actually got in the end zone. So and their defense is playing really well too. So I think they could definitely be a playoff team. But we'll see how it goes. I mean, of course, Darnold has to continue playing this way. We all know Darnold's track record. He has a good game too, a good game here, a good game there. But like I said, I'm a Darnold fan, so I'm going to ride with Darnold till he's no good anymore. I think he's going to be good all year.
The defense really is the surprise to me. As much as I loathe on Darnold, I knew he'd be fine because he's got targets. Didn't think he'd throw 300 yards. Like I figured he could be at 250, 275, maybe a week because that's an NFL quarterback, and he's getting paid to play like one. And when you have the best running back in the league behind you, you get a little bit of and great receiver there that you can throw to. And Robbie decided this week could be his down week. So next week, get Robbie Anderson in your lineup. He's going to have a 60-yard bomb and then one other catch for 3 yards.
Yep.
I think that they embarrass the Saints. They're 2-0. How far can the defense carry them? Will Darnold continue to play is the key. It'll be interesting to see that team pan out. I didn't see it coming. The problem is there's a buzzsaw in that division known as the Buccaneers, and will they bounce back after getting obliterated by the Buccaneers? Will be the question when they get to that bridge they got to cross at some point.
Yeah, we'll cross when we get there.
So you started the year you have a team that is pretty much you had the fever.
Oh yeah.
Boy, did you have the fever.
Yeah, I was a big rookie guy this year. I don't know, I just like the young guys. So but going into the season, I was, everybody wanted one of these rookie quarterbacks, and looking at it so far, nothing really all that spectacular. When Mac Jones has been the best one so far, 73% passing and 467 yards, 460 passing yards. I mean, that's the best there is. And he's only got 1 touchdown. I mean, they're running the ball a lot. But you look at these other guys. You got Zach Wilson hitting 55%, five interceptions. You got the great Trevor Lawrence going 50%, 5 interceptions. And then Fields came in after Dalton got hurt. He didn't look great. There was some drop passes. It could have looked better than it was. But my whole thing with the Fields is Nagy coming out saying Dalton's still a starter, which literally makes 0 sense. Because if Fields even plays remotely decent, the Bears fans are not going to want Dalton to come back in. It's just going to cause a big, big ruckus. But yeah, so far this quarterback class really hasn't lived up to the hype. But
yeah, I think it's because of the new school NFL. In the new school NFL, you got to play these guys. And if you don't try to play the guys, we're all thinking Matt Nagy's a moron. Maybe he's right. Is he right that you need to wait? Let Andy Dalton get beat up for a year. Let Fields learn the pro game, even though these college systems are so much more pro ready that maybe Nagy and his infinite moronicism, if that's a word, has something there. I mean, the best quarterback in the league paid for 10 years $1 billion, $500 million, didn't play his first year.
Yeah, I mean, I understand why they do it. I mean, it makes sense. I like I said, they're the coach, so they know more about it than I mean, I understand why they do it. They might not be completely ready to come in. Obviously, he came in yesterday and didn't play all that good. Like I said, so yeah, would I be upset if Fields doesn't play? Absolutely, but if it's better for him and he comes in, and he just comes in next year and plays much better. So I mean, it we'll see if it works or not. Like I said, it worked for Mahomes. It's just we just ain't got they just ain't got the time these days. I mean, you gotta put them in there and just let them play it out.
Yeah. Well, speaking, going to sort of the opposite realm, those guys underwhelmed. The next guys overwhelmed. I'm going to spot the team a little bit, but talk about a guy that I traded away for Adam Thielen in a dynasty league. So it's not looking horrible because I don't necessarily, but game one, 34-56 for 435 and 2 touchdowns. Game two, he it was 28 of 37, 382 and 2 touchdowns. So most people would go, wow, Tom Brady is having a great season. He's got
He
more
is
stats.
having a great season.
He is having a, they're gonna say, wow, Patrick Mahomes looking good. Wow, that's amazing, Josh Allen. Nope, sorry. You're still wrong. That would be Derek Carr, the man in the Raiders locker room who apparently is beloved. The man, like I respect him saying I won't play for any other team. Like he is a Raider for life, and that's loyalty. At his age, it's not stupidity because he's of the age where it wouldn't be too bad. I mean, he's young 30s, but coming out, and he didn't do it against the Jaguars, the Texans, the Giants, like Teddy Bridgewater did. He did it against the Steelers and the Ravens. I mean, what a horrible, horrible paper record to start with. You start with the Ravens, then you get to go to the Steelers. Good job, Raiders. You're 0-2. Now let's go to the Dolphins. They're competitive. You might win that one. They're 2 and freaking 0. Josh Jacobs is broken because everything's hurt. Henry Ruggs decided to show up for the first time this week. They did it with Darren Waller being pedestrian.
Yeah, like they've done it two ways. I mean, the first week they was doing it, they did it with Darren Waller getting 19 targets and just killing it, and then this week Darren Waller wasn't really all that, and they had to pivot because I guess people will start focusing on Waller. Let's take him away and let's see what they can do, and then Ruggs steps up with a big game. He had that bomb touchdown. So, like I said, they said the Dolphins next week. So that seems like would be an easy game, but you never know about the NFL. Dolphins come out and actually look like a real NFL team, but we'll see. But yeah, he looks good. I mean, he's on pace to have a great year. Good for
Yeah,
him.
it'll be interesting to see because the Dolphins, if you look at them closer, if Josh Jacobs plays, you want to start him next week because the Dolphins have a decent line, but their run defense has been putrid. What's been good is their secondary is good, so that will be the test because you got Howard and Jones back there and some decent safeties that will be his real test as to is he passing or did he just have 2 amazing weeks? And speaking of 2 amazing weeks, not wide receiver one, shockingly, but Matt Stafford's love. They apparently the story is they get up, have breakfast together every day, and watch film. He's his new BFF. Cooper Cup, 108 yards and touchdown week one, 163 yards and 2 touchdowns week two. Haven't we seen this movie before? I believe we've seen it. Was it 2 years ago?
Yeah,
This happened for Cooper Cup. So that he is a monster. He's making our boy Robert Woods look like you,
relevant.
me.
Don't need him.
Like he's okay, but wow, I thought they both would be lighting it up. It's the Cooper Cup show. Now, really, Cooper, can you stay healthy? If you stay healthy, you're top five quarterback. I'll call it right now. If he stays healthy, Cooper Cup, top five quarterback because
Wide receiver.
yeah, he could even be a wide receiver some days. Did he play quarterback in college? Um, but yeah, Cooper Cup could be I'll plant a flag.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody's always like Cup. I mean, like I said, he always had that half a season where he's really good and then get injured or something like that. But when he plays, I mean, he's always been good. He was good with Jared Goff throwing the ball. He seems to be no matter what quarterback is in there, he seems to be their best friend. I mean, he was best friends with Jared Goff, and now Stafford comes in and starts throwing it all over the place, and his number one target is Cooper Cup. I guess he's just an easy man to find out there running crossing patterns and going on deep all over the place. There's no respect for him out there, and he takes advantage of it.
I just learned he went to Eastern Washington University
Oh, really?
out of nowhere.
Did not know that. But yeah, I mean, it keeps this up. Like I said, I like Cooper Cup. I mean, I think he could be a top
Zero.
5 receiver. He's done it before. So
I got 0 shares of Cup, and
yeah,
there's no way I'm getting it.
I traded him away last year.
Me too.
Traded him and Josh Jacobs away for CD Lamb. Kind of wish I had Cooper Cup at the moment, but I'll stick with CD Lamb in the long run, I guess. But
Monster
jumping over
time.
to jumping over
Monster
to my
time.
last one here. Couple bounce back guys, big bounce back guys. One really worked for you this week was Derrick Henry,
Woo.
and then the other one is Aaron Jones. Look at Derrick Henry. He just looked like, well, he is a big man out there, but in the beginning of the game, he didn't look great. I was like, man, is this how it's going to be all year? But eventually, you just keep giving that guy the ball, and it's eventually going to happen. He ended up with 35 carries. It's insane. So it looks like he's going to be on pace for another 400 carry year, 182 yards and 3 touchdowns. He literally went from like 5 fantasy points to 50. I was like, Jesus, man. And he even got six catches for 55 yards.
Well,
And if he's getting 6 catches, looking at the best running back year you could possibly have. I mean, he could finish he will finish as the number one running back if he's getting those catches. And then Aaron Jones, he had 100 total yards and 4 touchdowns. That's insane. 3 receiving. How often does that happen? Not very often when your running back gets 3 receiving touchdowns. Funny note, he said he had I guess his dad passed away a while back, and had his
hey,
ashes in his little necklace
really?
that he was wearing, and he ended up losing it on the field. So he has no idea. So he has no idea where it's at. So but he was like, well, if my dad wanted me to lose it anywhere, it'd be on the football field. So
Huh.
good for him. I
Silver
mean,
lining.
big bounce back, big bounce back. I mean, we had a guy after last week, Zeke and Aaron Jones, sucked it up. He traded Zeke for Aaron Jones. It worked out for him. So good for him. But see if they can keep it going. Packers definitely looked better than they did last week. Now they were playing the Lions. So, I mean,
Hey,
that's
but
what
are the Lions that bad?
yeah, we all expected. I mean, they didn't look bad in the first half. That's about as far as I watched. The second half, they looked pretty bad.
They were
Evidently,
just flat. Second
they
half
looked
was
pretty
more
bad.
flat.
But yeah, great bounce back for those guys. I mean,
So let's jump into our quick segment, speed through segment. Surefire waste of a touchdown this week. We have some interesting touchdowns. Some guys that we don't even know how to say their names as we get there.
some of these guys never
Sam
even heard
Darnold
of.
scored 2 passing touchdowns. If you had him on your team, you probably didn't need it. Oh, wait. Sorry. You already talked about him. Let's start in Cleveland. Andy Jonovich, 1 yard rushing touchdown. Congratulations, Nick Chubb. Congratulations. You did not get a touchdown because
Nope.
Andy Jonovich got it there. Kareem Hunt,
Surefire waste of a touchdown there. Never even heard of the guy.
Carolina Panthers receiver Brandon Zylstra, 20-yard touchdown. Not DJ Moore, not Robbie Anderson, not even Terrence Marshall. Brandon Zylstra. I think that's how you
Yep.
say his name.
Surefire waste of a touchdown. Never heard of that guy either.
Oh, your love, Mr. Damian Harris got a touchdown from 7 yards. Oh, wait, no, sorry. That's James White, the passing specialist. Runs it in for 7 yards. I didn't know he could run the ball.
Yeah, me neither. I thought that was Damian Harris when they first handed it off,
Me
but
too.
it turned out to be a surefire waste of a touchdown.
Oh, look at that 9 yard touchdown for the Raiders. Congratulations, Darren Waller. Oh, wait, that's Foster Moreau. Huh, that's interesting.
Surefire waste of a touchdown.
Oh my goodness. 68-yard touchdown. The number one receiver in football, Tyler Lockett, going deep. And it is Freddie Swain.
Yeah, that was definitely a surefire waste of a touchdown because nobody was starting that guy.
What a bunch of pile of non-help as we go. So, JJ Wang, if you had to pick up some dude this week to put on your team, who would it be? And it looks like we have a theme this week.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. I mean, these two guys. I mean, I wanted to do both of them, but you snuck that one in there. My guy's KJ Osborne. He had 76 yards last week, and then so maybe people went to the waiver wire to pick him up. But then
I
this week he
did.
had the 5 catches for 91 yards and a touchdown. Looking solid for that team. They're running the ball well. They're passing. I mean, if your third wide receiver is getting this many targets, catches, and yards, I might as well pick him up. So I mean, if he's out there on your waiver wire, he's definitely worth a valuable pickup. I'm gonna get him everywhere I can. Might even pay a little extra for him if I have to. Not $100, but I'll pay a little extra for him.
This could probably be your home league because he's not in any of our leagues. I
Oh
think
really?
I
I
think
think
I grabbed him in a couple leagues.
oh well, if he's out there, make sure you scoop him up.
Yeah, my boy's a guy I liked coming in. I ended up having to trade him away in one of my dynasties. Still have him in my other, and he's sitting on my taxi. Can you believe that? So I think my taxi is going to be depleted soon. I had to take Elijah Mitchell off, and now I'm going to be taking Rondell Moore off that. And I think his success this year is not so much about Rondell Moore. I thought he would be good eventually. It was just he had that it factor I felt coming into the season as a rookie. I really think it's just Kyler's monster season. Kyler is killing it, and D Hop can't catch 400 yards a week, so somebody's got to benefit from it. And Rondell Moore, he looked really good. He had 8 targets, 7 receptions, 114 yards, and a touchdown. But the catches just they looked spectacular. Like he sometimes it like he worked too hard to make some of those catches because he looks so good.
But I mean, he looked good after the catch. I mean, he's quick. I mean, he's getting the ball and moving. I mean, he's hard to tackle. I mean, he looked good. But speaking of D Hop, we all know how I feel about him. We all know he's a great guy. But D Hop's not even getting 100 yards receiving. I mean, he's living off the touchdowns. He's got 3 touchdowns in 2 weeks, and with not over 100 yards yet. But I mean, it'll get there. But yeah, the Cardinals actually got other receiving options. And if Rondell Moore is out there, you better pick him up because he's not going to be out there for long. He's going to be he'll probably end up being the hottest waiver wire pickup this week. Even AJ Green got a touchdown out there yesterday.
I mean, it's not a surefire waste of a touchdown, but surefire waste of catches. 7 receptions for 94 yards from Max Williams.
Oh, I seen that.
It's ridiculous. But
I'm
just out of
gonna have to pick
curiosity,
him up. I need a tight end really bad.
because DeAndre Hopkins, how's his season comparing to DK Metcalf?
Well, right now, it's.
Let's see.
I mean, Hopkins is winning right now, but it's not like he's stacking up the yards or anything. I mean, what 150 receiving? I think they both have roughly 150 receiving yards, maybe somewhere around in there. Like
touchdowns make fantasy.
Metcalf just ain't getting the touchdowns because Tyler Lock is balling out over there. I mean, Jesus.
So JJ Wang, as we're closing out, do you have any weekly words of wisdom? We thought we'd spend our Tuesday shows and just let JJ Wang share his wisdom with you.
My weekly wisdom is no matter how much you think you know, honestly, you really have no idea. I mean, it's insane. Like, we'll take my home league for I sit here on fantasy 365 days a year, just 3 or 4 hours a day. That's all I do is talk fantasy. And here I am. I can't even win a league. And I got my sister out here who never watches football, just comes in, dropping points like it's like she knows what she's doing. No, I don't want to say my sister don't know what she's doing, but she's not like us. She's not spending a lot of time on this. But I don't care what anybody says. They think they know what they're doing. They pick the right guy. Blah blah blah. You have no idea. Nobody has any idea. It's just like I said. It's just all luck. I mean, that's just what it is. I mean, I can't get. I don't get it, man. No matter how much time you put into this, you just can't determine what's going to happen week to week with injuries. So
you might even start a podcast and look. So
yeah,
don't take his advice to start another podcast. Any friends of ours, just like us, don't help us to get successful. So we're not getting up at 5:30 in the morning for useless reasons.
But like I always say, I'm going to trust myself and I'm going to trust the process because that's just how it goes.